And then talk about the other programs like FHA, VA loan.
Yeah, I mean FHA is the most used in my
Standard.
opinion because it's standard 3.5%. Obviously, it comes with mortgage insurance, but most recently, the mortgage insurance premium has reduced, which now FHA is now a cheaper loan than conventional in some cases.
Okay.
Obviously, in the past when I was a listing agent, we would always put conventional above FHA just because of the appraisal process, but it's becoming cheaper for a buyer to buy under FHA than it is conventional. Obviously, VA is 100% finance for veterans. The one thing I love about VA is, one, if you are disabled, you also can, you won't have to pay taxes. So I had a client, husband and wife, they both just retired. They got 100% disability under VA. They don't pay no property tax, and they didn't pay any down payment, and they actually got money back at the table. So. Yeah, I mean, it's no reason for people not to, to buy a house. There's so many programs and so many opportunity. When I talk to buyers over the phone, once I initiate that initial conversation, I know everything about them. I know exactly where to send them and know where they can be maximized, where they can get their most bang for their buck. Yeah.
Okay. And me, I'm self-employed. So I've been self-employed for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I own a house now. I've owned a house for 3 years. But prior to that, I was always like worried about buying a house because I'm self-employed. Like I make good money, but I know they take that microscope and they look at everything. So I was always like kind of psyching myself out like, nah, I don't think I'm ready yet. And then when I sat down with my realtor at the time, they were like, you need to do X, Y, and Z to basically be able to be approved, because they're going to look at everything. They want to make sure you got consistent income. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize that self-employed, we tend to write off a lot of things that are considered business expenses.
Yeah.
But that can bite people in the butt when it's time for them to purchase a house. Kind of talk about that a little bit, like how they should be kind of preparing for that between 1 to 2 years when they're going into purchasing houses, being self-employed.
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier when I did my taxes, because I knew I wasn't making that large purchase of being a homeowner, I could take advantage of writing a lot of the expenses off. But if you plan on buying in the next 2 years, you definitely need to not write that stuff off, because obviously now you actually can. They do have programs where there are bank statement loans and things of that nature, but it's a bigger dent in your pocket. So you come in between 10 and 20% out on down payment. So if you can afford that, then that's fine. And they call those no doc loans. All they needed to see is your bank statements for the last 2 years and see the consistent income. You pay the down payment, you're good to go. But in this case, what you're stating is that you have to make sure that you maximize your income in those 2 years so that you do not diminish your buying power. Because at that point, you might have made $500,000, and if you wrote all 400 of it, they qualify you on $100,000. You think you can buy an $800,000 house? No, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Oh, you got some people that like to make a lot of money.
Man, and they don't understand.
They only $10,000.
You break that news to them, they are upset. I'm trying to tell you. Now, the flip side to that is you can go and amend your taxes. Now, but again, that comes with a cost, because if you go back and amend them, now you're going to owe. So if you got that money in the bank to pay Uncle Sam to be able to maximize that, you can do that. So in some cases, we tell people, like even for 2022, when you file your taxes right now and you maximize the income after you get your house, then you go back and amend your taxes, and then you get your tax breaks. So But I always tell people that before you make these decisions, as you're trying to buy a house, call the professional. Like, do not go and make these decisions by yourself. And part of the conversation too on our consultations, I tell my clients that, granted, as agents, we know about a little bit about what everybody does and a lot of the qualifications, as well as the down payment assistance and all these different things. Is it our job to know that? Absolutely. But when it comes to the actual transaction, I send them back to the professional because they're getting paid to do it. So when it comes to down payment assistance, who's going to apply for you, the lender going to need to answer those questions, because things change day to day. Sometimes we don't get real-time information. Our lenders do a great job of sending us information as stuff come available for the most part, but no different than the home inspector. If something going on with the house, can we answer the question? Yes, we can. But call that home inspector and ask that question. Same thing with the title company. It comes to the title and the deed and things of that nature. Because we've done so many deals, we have a plethora of information about so many different things. But again, sometimes we don't even have the time, like to dig into this, that, and the other. Call the lender, ask that question, and call me back while I deal with this, that, and the other. So that is the advantages. But definitely, if everybody getting paid to do a job, it's your job to answer that question.
And that's the beauty of our team, because we have like pretty much a select group of people that we work with. So it's not like you just go and bounce around people. Anybody we sending you to, they're reputable. We've done multiple deals with. So our team pretty much has a guideline of who they can can't or shouldn't work with,
Yeah.
but that it makes it easier for everyone because I know this person does all our first time home buyers loan, and I know they've done this situation 100 times. But like you said, like I mean that's the thing. Like it's not even like being lazy. It's more so like, hey, it's a circle of professionals that all work together, and we all have our role. So like you said, even to the home inspection. In the home inspection, I'm there, but I'm in the background because that's not my job.
Yeah.
So I'm here and I'm aware, I'm alert if you need me, but the professional is right there. So if you have a question, let him answer it. Can I converse with you? Can I go over small details with you? But you're paying him. It's like I'm getting paid for my part. They're getting paid for their part. So,
which is why we don't. I mean, I got a pet peeve. I don't really like people stepping on my toes. Like if I'm the real estate, I hate it when clients say, "Oh, my uncle, my mother, this person said this, said that." I was like, "Do they got their real estate license? Do they know what's going on?" They talking about when they bought a house 25 years ago. Man, the market is totally different. But you know, so the same thing applies. Like I really. Like he said, the home inspector, I don't step on their toes. Now, obviously, once we get the information that's needed, now it's time for us to kind of jump in and negotiate on their behalf. But outside of the initial aspect of it,
let them do the job.
Let them do
Stay
the
in
job.
your lane.
Yeah.
So, so somebody's basically wanting to hire you, basically have you as to represent them as a buyer's agent. Do you recommend that they go get pre-qualified first? And they need to come to you with a letter showing the qualifications
before they do what?
Before they start looking at homes.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm not showing not one house if you ain't qualified.
Do you mean like? Are you saying like they go get their own pre-qual, or they like? Do we send them somewhere? Because
no, we definitely send them to our preferred.
Okay.
If you come to me and you like insist, I want to work with this person, perfectly fine. But other than that, no, I want my lender to stamp that because I know how I'm going to move on your behalf. And everybody moves differently. I'm telling you, you can't just go out here and work with any lender and expect the file to close and move the same way.
Okay.
No way. Like
there's a level of expectation.
We got a lender that we work with.
So Jackie.
Literally got one to work with.
I already know what you talking about.
I put one in the contract 2 Saturdays ago. It closed last Monday. Like 9 days. In reality.
Wow.
9 days. Oh, but you got something that you know you're going to need to massage a little bit. You got to do this, do that. And the deal going to close. But we know this deal going to go here because it's going to close in 30 days. So ultimately, like, even if you come into me pre-approved with someone else, I'm going to say, hey, if you don't mind,
That literally just happened.
I would like for you to still speak with my lender because I want to really have a true understanding of where you at. And lenders aren't always transparent, especially like if they haven't worked with you before, because they kind of as leery of you as you are of them. So
that's why it's important, basically, to have
the relationships,
that preferred lender or
preferred title company.
Okay, title company, probably preferred inspector,
everything,
preferred photographer, preferred, everything pretty much in house almost.
Yeah, I think it sets an expectation as well. And I give you an example. I had a client call me off social media literally 2 days ago. She said, I was already pre-qualified. I got my letter, X, Y, and Z, and I got my lender.
Okay.
So I went through the spiel of saying, listen, I don't have a problem using your lender. However, I need to have a conversation with him so I can set the expectation of what I expect and what he is expecting of me. And even to the point when we get time to write an offer, I need to know how long it's going to take you to close a deal. You know, what do you need from me?
Okay.
And so she put us in a group text.
Okay.
And the lender never responded. I'm introducing you to my agent, Jeremiah, X, Y, and Z. Give him a call. I responded to the text. Thanks for the introduction. Now reach out to me so I can, get the nuances about the client.
Crickets.
A whole 24 hours went by. Actually it's 48 hours now. He still hasn't responded.
Nothing.
But what he don't know, she's already qualified with my lender. My lender responded right back. We got her now. So it set the precedent because I explained this to her, which is why we don't use other people's lenders because it's for a reason.
That's a prime example right there.
Yes, absolutely. And then the flexibility that we have with the lender. For instance, if something's going on with the file, they able to have some flexibility to push some stuff through to make some stuff shake on our behalf, and if it's be a lender credit or whatever. But when you don't have a relationship with those people, it ain't but so far they're going to bend or go, for a client that they have, no relationship with.
One thing I like to tell all my clients, because of the relationship we have, people often assume that, like, if you come in and you're not ready, it's going to be like, all right, well, you ain't ready, go away. That's not how it works with us. It's like, we talk about filling the pipeline, and I'm perfectly okay with it. And that's one thing you should understand about having an agent that's seasoned, that's actually working, because when you come in, you're not ready, agent like us is not going to be like, oh, push them to the side, forget about them, because we're not chasing that money at this point. It's more so about building our pipeline. So we're okay with you not being ready right this second. But one thing I want you to understand is if you come in and you're ready, it's going to be, hey, boom, you're pre-approved. This is what you can do. Go do your thing. But if you're not, it's going to be, hey, I need you to do A, B, C, D, E. And when you're done with that, come back and let me know.
You're planting the seed.
Because absolutely. Another thing you got to understand, like, people don't understand, y'all familiar with the the rescore process?
No.
All right, so a lender has the ability to get you rescore, right? And that basically means there's certain things that's on your credit that they may see, and they have a different scale than what we look at. But when they pull it, they look at this stuff and they say, "Oh, you got this credit card that's doing this, or you got this over here that's doing that." You pay this stuff. You give them the receipt. They can present that receipt to the credit bureau, and the credit bureau has to update your score within 7 days. So instead of you being out here shopping or you fixing your credit on your own for 7-8 months, no, we gonna tell you exactly what to do. And when you do that stuff, now we can expedite that process for you. Can you always do that with all items and stuff? No, but a lot of times if we see that stuff and we can take care of it, you know that. And if you don't, if you can't do that, then you know, hey, based on what you got going on, here's a realistic timeline for what we expect. Here's exactly what we need to do down to the dollar and the cent amount. So yes, you don't have to be pre-approved, but yes, we prefer you go through our people because then we can give you a realistic game plan. And sometimes you get people come in, like I had this girl, she reached out to the other day, say, "Hey, I'm pre-approved, I could do $300,000. That's a stretch right now in this budget, but we'll figure a way to make it make sense." But what I asked her was, "Hey, so they've already verified taxes, all that stuff?" "Oh no, we haven't done all that yet." No way I'm taking you out. We got to take that back. So she was not happy, but she was great. She was grateful for the fact that I helped her catch that because we stepped back and we put it with a real lender who was going to really make sure she's getting what she needs. And she got a little bit of work to do, but she'll be good and ready to shop by the spring. But she knows that once we go out, if she writes an offer, her deal will close. She don't got to guess like, dang. Like,
it's no waiting on pins and needles. Like, is this going to fall through?
So we take that out of the equation. So
that way y'all not wasting your time as well.
At all.
But that's big though. You're taking a lot of the burden off the potential buyer. You know, because it's a big purchase. And you got people that may be on the end of their lease on their apartment and they're in the middle of this deal. So for you guys to come in and basically say, "Hey, we're taking a lot of the guesswork out. We're taking a lot of that burden off. Long as you do the homework, we present you with what you got to do, X, Y, Z. You do that, we pretty much good, smooth sailing from there."
You go.
So should is it okay for a real estate agent to represent the buyer and the seller? Is that ethical?
Depending on the market. So in DC it's allowed, which to me, it's very hard to give fiduciary duty to both sides and you representing both sides. Obviously, you know the wants and needs of both parties and you kind of know what makes sense for the seller, so you kind of can, so legally DC, yes. Maryland, no. They call that dual agency, so you can have two people in the same brokerage represent buyer and seller, but it has to be disclosed, but you cannot have the agent on both ends represent the buyer and seller in Maryland.
Gotcha. Yeah, crazy story. Like my first house I was trying to buy, I went with one of these big companies, right? So I told her, this is my budget. I'm looking to get some PG County, Bowie up in Marlboro, boom, boom, boom. So she started showing us some houses. So I'm like, taking us to dumps, like crack houses. I'm like, why are we here? She showed me like 3 of them. I was like, look, something going on here. So I cut ties with her. After talking with a couple of friends and everything, she's like, oh yeah, she probably represent both parties. That's why she was showing you these houses. So I didn't know at the time. I was young. I was like 21. I didn't know it was a conflict of interest. This was acceptable. But thankfully, the person told me, hey, you need to step away from that person because they're trying to do you dirty.
No, that happens. It happens. I mean, if it was in Maryland, legally she can't represent both. Her name would be on both as a listing and about, but then she would have to change. And she really, technically, you'll be a customer for her, and not be able to represent. And then she would put somebody else's name on your contract.
Somebody got to agree. Or somebody got to agree be unrepresented. Like basically, you got to go. You got to go into that deal by yourself. You basically on your own, and you don't want that. Like not with that type of purchase.
Yeah, definitely. So I also been hearing lately about 40-year mortgages. Now, is that a real thing? Yeah.
I haven't had one, and I don't. And me personally,
I think they just announced it.
I'm not sending. If my buyers, only way that my buyers are going into a 40-year mortgage if they absolutely have to. That's not something I'm gonna recommend. And again, it just depends. And they doing this obviously because of the rates. You know what I'm saying? The rates are high. So it obviously give them ability to stretch the loan out. It's no different than buying a car. Same thing. They give you. They giving out 9 years.
9. I say y'all crazy.
I might not be running after that.
What kind of car you buying?
It's the young ones that want them charges, right? Let me get the SRTs.
$100,000 Hellcats. And like,
$100,000 Hellcat.
man, come on.
They trying to get the $300 to $400 car note, so they stretch it out to 9 years.
That car ain't gonna be running after that, especially if you got that type of car. Like, I mean,
American made, get you 3.
Yeah. So man. I mean, just the level of interest that you getting on houses, period, man, over the period of time, man. It's just, and that's just about educating. The part about, I mean, our number one job is to educate buyers and sellers, making sure they understand. But when you show them an amortization chart and show them the amount of interest you're gonna pay out of that over a period of time, that's a lot of interest, man. Yeah. So you're gonna pay for that house almost 2 times and a half, actually. So. Now you're paying almost double. Technically, if you stay in the house 30 years, if you look at the bottom of your amortization chart, it's normally double. If you pay $400, it end up being close to $800,000. And the 40 years, it's going to look more like $1 million. You know what I'm saying? On a $400,000 house.
Yeah. I looked at when I was purchasing the house, and I looked at that number.
Yeah.
The lender looked at me. She noticed I was froze for a second. It was a 30. I got a good rate, but still, when you look at that. That's why some people say, hey, try to add a little extra to your mortgage over time to kind of get that down. But when I saw that other number, I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
Houses. It's reality.
You do know. So this is another thing that most people don't know. When you look at your amortization chart and it shows you your principal and interest, part of when they tell you make that extra payment a year and then knocks off 7 years, but they don't really tell you how it's really done.
Okay.
So when you look at, say if you're at payment 1, on your amortization chart, and you go down to payment 10, and you add up the principal amount on that. So you make your first payment, and then the payment 2 through 9 or through 10. If you pay that amount, you skip all those interest payments during that time. That's how you skip ahead on the amortization chart, and then you don't pay the bank that interest at that point.
Okay. That's the trick to it.
Yeah.
So, it's a little tricky. I actually just made a whole post about that the other day. Like, and it's definitely doable, but you got to understand exactly what's going on. And even to that, like. You're not just making the extra payment. That payment, you actually gotta go directly to the principal. So when you're making that payment, you have to notify them. Apply this to the principal. This is just not an extra payment, because what happened is they'll basically take that payment and just look at it like, oh, he paid this month early and then let that interest still build up. So it got to go there. But you can actually, if you do one, that counted from 7 years. You do 2, count it. It cut it about 14 years.
You said that's once a year.
If you do it once a year. So if you make one extra payment to the principal a year, from 30 to 23, 2 extra payments a year from 30 to 17.
Directly to the principal.
But you can also make bi-weekly payments. So if, instead of making your payment once a month, if you make it twice a month, does the same thing. It cuts it by 7 years. So you just got to make bi-weekly payments, because you're not giving it a chance for the interest to build up. So you paying it in advance. So you start paying every 2 weeks. Interest don't catch up. So now,
because you're paying interest daily technically.
Yes.
So when you make those payments ahead of the time, bi-weekly, then that interest is being applied.
That sheds off some. Okay. Wow.
You attacking first.
So I know you briefly touched on the stresses of the business. How y'all manage the stress of all of this, and the kids and the wife, and everything that's getting thrown at you day in, day out.
I can hear it now.
You heard that
hear
sigh?
Yeah.
Man, I think that's, to be honest with you, out of everything we talked about, that has been the most important thing for us, me and my wife and our family, to manage, because I think, you get caught up real quickly that, when you chasing the money, chasing the bag, and trying to chase the deals and the transaction. And what we didn't talk about, which I didn't even think about to mention, I just opened up a restaurant too. So that in itself is taking up a lot of my time. So I would say over the past 3.5 years, I've got into a lot of, disagreements because of you not being home, doing this and doing that. But also in the last couple of years, I've gotten kudos to that, to the point where I've able to put work aside and then, take care, make sure the family's good, spending time with my kids and my wife and stuff like that. But the time is real critical. I'm still learning how to do it, because sometimes it can be weeks where I'm getting home 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then it's sometimes I'm not, and I'm more conscious of it. But you can go 3 or 4 weeks and then forget, like, damn, I ain't been home.
Yeah.
Late. I mean, get home late every night. The kids like, Daddy, you just get home, it be 9 in the bed, sleep. So it's definitely takes a toll on. And then too, also my body shuts down sometimes. Yeah. I'm 41 years old. Sometimes I get up, and I'm thinking I'm getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's 10 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, your body just told you need an extra 3, 4, 5 hours sleep.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I think it's very important that I make sure that I spend the time, especially with my children, because you don't get these years back, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to make sure my kids know I'm a part of their life. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to homework, vacationing, just spending just quality time with them. I don't care if it's playing a game with my son, going out shoot the basketball, go to his games and stuff like that. The stuff that I didn't necessarily get the way that I wanted to get it when I was growing up. So. And obviously, you know, that QT with the wife is extra important. You can't.
So they had them date nights.
You want to have that peace of mind when I come home. Bro. I don't want no problem. I don't want no smoke. I know who run the house.
You sit in that dark corner staring, man.
You know what I'm saying? That money don't answer the problem there. You got to make sure you spend that time with her. So, yeah. I don't know about right now. But
I mean, the same thing. We were just talking about that before I came here. I'm like, listen, I could run at night, but I'm not. When I leave here, I'm going home with the family, and we're going to chill. My oldest son, he's a jock.
Okay.
We always running with him. We got 4 boys. So it's the middle son, he's in school. He's kind of just coming into that phase of like want to enjoy life a little more. So now we kind of figured that out. Last night, had to get home a little early because he wanted to go to a school dance.
Okay.
Then they got the younger 2, which... You know, they kind of more mama's boys, but at the same time, like, they definitely, like, they'll tell me, like, Dad, you just getting home? Like, you know, like, oh,
Make
man.
you feel guilty.
So whenever they start to recognize it, like, again, Dad, it's like, oh, man.
Big banner up, basically, like, okay.
So sometimes you got to actually plan to do nothing. I got to just plan to be around, be here. Like, even if we're not doing nothing, I'm just going to be home today. So
present.
Definitely trying to find a way to keep the balance is crucial, and I'm gonna be honest, my wife she a team player. Like she definitely, she's a trooper. She'll tell me about myself every now and then, but it's almost like she's not one of them women that sit back and kind of wait for much. Like I like she would take the trash out and tell us about it later, but she ain't gonna let the trash just sit there. Like she's just one of them. So it's like at the end of the day, I definitely appreciate her and everything I do, but it definitely helps me realize like, all right, you gotta keep that balance. The balance is key for real. And my oldest son, he don't got much time left. He a sophomore in high school. He an athlete. If everything goes the way it's supposed to go, he could be potentially leaving the house the middle of his senior year to go off to college and play football.
Right.
So every time I look at that situation, it makes me realize, like, bro, like time really goes. And when it goes, it goes. I mean, Jeremiah knows his daughter is in college. Yeah. And, you know, it's like as much as we want to be there for him, it's like it's gonna be different. Being there from afar and being there, actually getting to come home and put your hands on them physically every day, is like it's different. So I definitely understand. Like I can't let that time go. So
and it's also good for you too as a father, because you know I can say for myself when I do make that downtime and you because we get burnt out easily with the work, and then when you spending time with your family and stuff, it's like, oh, this is what I really do it for. You know, it's a priceless moment when you go on those vacations and you just having fun and stuff. Like you can't, when they say you can't put a price on that, you really can't. It's a priceless feeling. It's a feeling that money can't buy.
Absolutely.
You know, obviously you need money for those kids and all that, but it can't buy that joy.
Yeah, I agree. I love it though, and I think when we do get those moments where you step back from work, I get to be a kid again. It's almost
you do.
Like, oh man, like I miss it. Like we go to the beach, my wife be like, all right, now that's when you take over, because I'm not going to chase them kids through no water. Like y'all better not get wet. Me personally, I'm like, hey, take y'all shoes off. Go here with it. The other day, I mean, we had a long day. We ran early in the morning. We out all day long. I came home after the meeting. We had a lunch meeting, came home, and the boys out back in the backyard. And it's like, Dad, we outside having fun, we're playing trampoline, but we really wanted to ride bikes today. I'm watching the wife in the kitchen doing her thing. I'm just like, come on, bro, let's go right out front. But then we get out front, it's like, you know what? Like, cool. Now we next thing you know, we out there running. So like sometimes like you definitely gotta make that time. But like I don't realize how much I need that for myself actually. Like sometimes you do it because you want to be around for them, but like I need that too, because they lift your spirits up. They definitely bring you back. So
right in the moment when you feeling that heat, man. The kids they don't see that. They you know what I'm saying, they happy. They having a good time. And you need it right in that moment. Right. Be right on time.
How old's your youngest?
4.
Okay.
He'll be 5 in June.
7? Okay. All right. So you got him out the baby stages, basically.
So what's you said the youngest is 4, 7. What's the oldest?
My oldest is 19.
My oldest just turned 17.
That's different personalities, different age groups, and all
different
of that.
battles, conversations.
Different battles.
I like to say I grew up with my older 2 sons. Like, so most people don't even know this. My older 2 sons aren't from my marriage.
Okay.
So, I mean, of course, don't make a difference. And that's the thing, like,
Yeah.
that's why I love my wife, because most people, like, I mean, like, granted, their mothers are still here, so it ain't nothing like she has to just be their mom, but she is. And so, like, for the most part, when they see us, they see her, they don't even know. If I tell people, like, oh, the oldest two not her, they be like, what? Like, but at the same time, like, our family is our family, and you know what happens in our walls that stays in our walls. Like, man, my family, I think my family is actually as much as I love money, as much as I love everything that comes with it. Like, they are actually the real driving force, because I know that without what we do, I couldn't be here and around and for them the way that I am. So, like, it all goes full circle. Like, I need the job to be flexible, but I need them to keep me pushing to go chase that job. So
I know even for myself, like, as I start having kids or having more kids, they push me more. It's like I'm leveling up because I know I got a bigger team behind me. If I ain't have that team behind me, I'll probably have been lackadaisical. But now it's like, oh, now I got 3. Ooh, I gotta get real about this. You know?
Facts. Ain't no blowing money is on Hellcats and none of that stuff. Because at the end of the day, like, you never know. I mean, you never know what's going on. So now it's like, because of them, because of the family, everything we do is strategic. Like, do we do stuff? Do we enjoy life? Without a doubt. But it gotta make sense. Everything we do, we gotta justify.
Logical, man.
Yeah.
Gotta move sense.
So, and then staying on that topic, how do you guys, I call this the light switch, when it's time to have that downtime, like going on vacation? For me, I have to wean myself into it. Do you guys struggle with that? Like, when you go on vacation, because you still sometimes looking at the emails and stuff because business is still rolling. How do you turn that switch off when it's time?
I still struggle.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It's only one vacation that I can tell you I took where I turned my phone completely off.
Okay.
Almost every vacation, I'm still kind of working to some degree. I may not be on the computer, but I'm on the phone.
Maybe an email or something.
Yeah. And that's the beauty about the team too, man, because that's part of the reason. When before my team and I went on vacation, I literally had to work. I couldn't lose a client because I couldn't get them to a house and I'm on vacation. So now we go on vacation. The team, I lock them into the email, make sure they catch everything. If client need to go out, they take them out and make sure, and they can write the contracts. But you got to have a solid team to be able to do that.
Right.
So I haven't been able to get a vacation where I was able to turn the joint completely off, but. I need a vacation now. I realize I be needing one at least once a quarter, and it doesn't have to be, across the water or anything. It just be a weekend, or I just need to reset. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of stress. Real estate stressful period. Like it brings its own stress in itself outside of everything else you got going on.
Yeah, take us into that a little bit in the mental aspect of it. Yeah. The mental gymnastics that you may go through, the mental up and down.
I think for me, 2 things. One, when you have compassion for your clients and you want them to get what they want in regards to the houses and deals falling through or the inventory low, you can't find them something, they in a situation like you said when they lease about to end, things of that nature, that weigh heavy on me as a person.
You take on this stress a little bit too.
Absolutely. And then even some of their personal stuff, they talk to you about personal stuff that they got going on. You gotta be we ain't just realtors, man. We counselors, man. We bankers. We a little bit of everything during that transaction. And so even now, some of my clients that I done sold houses 4 or 5 years ago, they still call me about different things about their house, real estate. Not to say that's stressful, but when you add that to your everyday things that you're doing every day, that adds another level of stress. Then obviously it's attached to the money. If the deals slow up and you got that pressure to keep producing, you got to keep producing and keep producing. You obviously have your goal set where you want to be, but then you know how many deals you really need to do a year to be comfortable. You got to keep recreating it every year. You know what I'm saying? Day in and day out. Now, obviously, our family don't care a damn about that. I can tell you that right now. They don't want to hear. They don't care. All they want is daddy. Mommy want mama. That's it. They don't care about that. But, as fathers and as men, as protectors and providers, there's a level of anxiety and stress that come along with that day in and day out. You know what I'm saying? So,
I think, it's been built into us for years that we just hold it in. You know what I mean? We've never... Especially as black men, we've never been saying, vocalize your feelings. No, we just hold it in. We just put that deep inside and keep it pushing.
Recently, I think I told you this, but recently I had a day. I came home. I sat in the driveway. I called my therapist on the way home.
That was before you was on the team, though, right?
Nah, this was like 3-4 weeks ago.
Nah, bro, you ain't tell me that.
I had to literally, I had to call the therapist, and we literally sitting out front of the house, and he had to remind me, because we started with him because like through marriage counseling. And then he's like, listen, bro, like you don't have to call me every time something going on with y'all. Like we can talk through your stuff too. And if you just need somebody to talk to, like I don't really share much of my business. Like I feel like once you say certain stuff with people, then you give them the ability to judge you. So you got to keep it in. But with him, like now I just call her. He's like, bro, like, all right, let's get you through this day. Like what's going on? And sometimes I realize the stress that I do have from work, sometimes they can flow over the house and I don't want that. So in that particular day, I knew I was having a day and I'm like, before I even walk through this door, I got to sit in this car and we're going to have to talk this out. And by the time we were done, I feel better. But I mean, ultimately, we do take on a lot of other people's stress. Like I had a client where a deal went wrong and it was just like, it wasn't much we could do. Like, I mean, we had to deal with his loan, but then we found out the seller wasn't moving how they should have. So he kind of ended up in a situation where, you know, it's like, bro, like I'm homeless, but it's like, as bad as I felt for him, I would have felt worse if I would let him push through in that deal, knowing that he was going to a situation when they were kind of cutting corners. Like I can't have it on my. I would rather you
take
kinda,
a short term.
Take a short. And we'll figure that out. But no, a lot of what we do weighs on our conscience because I mean, if you really want to truly service people, you got to make sure you take care of them. And it's like you could say like, oh man, I want you to treat me like my family. I treat you like my family. But no, I really want you to feel like when we done with this, if you disappointed with how I handled your transaction, I'm gonna be disappointed in myself. So I really want to service you the best way I can. And sometimes that requires giving us our all. So I remember like going back to the vacation thing, like 3 years ago, we in Disney. We in Disney, man, and my phone ring. But it's a listing I got. And the listing agent, this is the seller says, the buyer says, hey, listen, we're investors. We want to buy that house. You can have both sides of the deal. We don't need no representation. And on top of that, once we flip it, you get the deal. At first, my wife like, why y'all on the phone? Why you on the phone?
Yeah.
We end up leaving the park a little early to go back to the house and making that deal happen. But when I sit in the van in the car with the whole family, I ran the numbers for them.
Yeah.
And everybody
was in the car running the numbers.
I ran the numbers for the family.
To justify why I'm doing what I'm doing.
And everybody okay, Dad, so we can go back. Man, we can go back the rest of the time we here. We put this deal together. And the crazy part is, I think this was on like a Monday. We went home and we closed that deal that same Friday. That same Friday.
Yeah, that's dope.
Pay for Disney
no vacation and a dope deal.
But I mean, honestly, it come with the territory. So I think that was one of the eye openers for the whole family because my wife understood like it ain't really about me just wanting to be super busy. Sometimes like it's the nature of the beast. So we kind of got to be willing to go roll with the punches sometimes. But at the same time, I also got to know when to shut it down. So can I completely turn it off? Probably almost never. But I've learned to minimize it the best that I can.
And I also think the systems, having good systems in place also helps that. Like I said, again, if Rannard didn't have no team and I didn't have a team, you know, there is still a level of responsibility that we're gonna have to a point where we won't have the affordability to do what we do, and it's a bad look because real estate is really a referral-based business. So if you get enough of those bad clients and bad apples, man, your career can be, you know what I'm saying, in jeopardy.
You might have to move a couple states over, start over.
Nah, facts. So, and the DMV ain't that big, man. So, you know, everybody in the DMV, most top agents know us. And so, you know, if we lose a client 9 times out of 10, or if somebody else lose a client, they coming to us like it's a small circle. Some of the clients I know that right now are closing, vice versa. I know a lot of agents in the DMV that close people that I know. So, you know, if they had a bad experience with you, somebody gonna know about it for sure.
So now that you mentioned having systems in place, now we're in the day and age of AI and whatnot. What kind of effects do you think AI is going to have on the real estate industry? The good, you know, whether it's good or bad.
I don't know bad, but I can tell you we just really started, you know, teetering with it a little bit.
Okay.
Was in the office last week and my broker brought it up to us and we just started typing that stuff and it started just talking back to us. And I'm like, wow. So
blew your mind, didn't it?
Man, I was like, this is crazy, really. Like, I mean, to the point where when you hear about, you know, how the world is changing and have technologies evolve. And, you know, you used to hear about flying cars and things happening, but stuff like this lets me know, like, this jobs are going to be at risk to the point where when you think about the pandemic and how government workers are now home working, and they're not in buildings, and they still building, which I'm still kind of trying to figure out why y'all still building these buildings,
commercial buildings.
Yeah, but ain't nobody working in them, and I don't see people going back to work anytime soon. So I'm just trying to figure out where this thing going. But you know, our kids are really going to be the ones that really be majorly affected. So it's for us to really kind of really try to prepare them for that and understand it. Right. But anything you need to know, man, AI kind of like tell you. I mean, it's crazy, man.
Siri on crack.
Like it's like the new Google, right?
Yeah.
What? That thing on the computer, on the screen, not only is it talking to you, it's like, here it is.
Spelling it all the way out. It's like,
step 1, 2, 3, 4.
He was like, where was this when I was in school, man?
You might can represent yourself in the court of law with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think there is one that's getting to that area where it's doing law.
Yeah.
You know, because all law is going through books and saying, okay,
Absolutely.
this is this, and that. So it's just comparing.
Now you got somebody to spit it out real time without you having to go search and look for it. Like, hey, here's a question. This is what I need. Here's your answer. This is what you need.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
He said it's going to take away some jobs.
Yeah.
But now we have an example of that. What was it? Was it Open Door? Where they had, it was Zillow. They bought up a bunch of properties and they had like a system in place to be able to sell them. I think it was, I don't know, it was Open Door. And they basically, it went like boom, whatever the system was. It was like AI based or something. And I guess that kind of helped prove that a human being there is still going to be important, having those boots on the ground as far as that human representation, where you can't do everything with AI to a degree. But also too, like I said, AI is probably a gift and a curse. Are you guys kind of like, now that you see, looking at this AI and the chat GPT and all of that, is it kind of making you, like you say, you're preparing your kids, but also too, are there things that you're trying to do in place to make sure that it doesn't really affect you in your career, your profession as a realtor?
I haven't done anything. I haven't made any adjustments to it, to be honest with you, because it's really just new to me. I mean, obviously, mentally, it starts to, you start to think a little different, try to figure out, get the wheels spinning, try to figure some stuff out. But I haven't really found out where is it really going to affect us yet. And when I do, obviously, I'm definitely going to pivot. Like I'm always a forward thinker, try to figure something out. But right now, like you said, it's levels to it, and so it's definitely. And when it comes to real estate, you definitely need, like you said, boots on the ground. There's no way that you can, for instance, when we just talked about listing agreements, how is AI going to determine the condition of a property at the time? Somebody got to actually visually see that. Now, unless they're going to create a robot to walk in there and do a 3D scan of the property or something like that, but I really don't know yet how it's going to affect real estate, but it definitely will affect some other industries. Some folks that's dealing with computers and things of that nature. Definitely that would affect IT and things of that nature. To fix systems, you got call centers that where people call in and say something wrong with your email. Because when I was in the government, something could be wrong with the email, password, whatever. AI could probably fix that without having a human on the other end. So those type of jobs are definitely going to be affected before ours.
That just made me think. I mean, this is just me thinking, but the only thing I could think of really affecting maybe is lending purposes. But they already kind of got automated systems with the lending right now. And
so
sometimes
like Rocket Mortgage, that's
I mean, that's more like a broker.
It's a broker.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
like,
I didn't know if that
they
was...
also you reach out to them and they find a loan for you.
Oh,
but
okay.
like lenders, they all have like they got underwriting, but they got like a service that they use where they put your loan information in and it kind of tells you like if you're gonna get an approval, and on the back end, and if you're not gonna get it through, then they actually got to manually underwrite it.
Okay.
So I mean, it might be a situation like that where they might be able to just upload all your information and then let it automatic
take you through the workflow.
Yeah.
But that actually helps us then in that case because they can move pretty quickly.
That benefits you.
Like your turn times is like an hour. You know what I'm saying? Because right now turn time could be 24, 40 hours for review. You talking about same day? Oh man, we can probably close a lot quicker.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
Have you ever thought about using AI for writing contracts? Because like you said, you can put in it what you want and spit everything out. Have y'all used that yet?
Yeah, I mean, if it allows it to do something like that, then I don't mind stop paying my assistant to help write contracts.
Hey.
I mean, that saves some money. I mean, again, that's all positive aspects of it. So for me, if I can use it to write contracts, run comps, and all the stuff that gives me my time back, because I got to sit down and do that stuff. So, definitely, if we able to find a way where it can do that, then,
definitely, it can write a contract. You might have to come in and change a couple little nuances to it, but it can knock out probably a good 90% of it. Hey, write me a contract for a house that's worth this much with blah, 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 in less than 500 words, and it'll spit it out for you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I ain't think about that.
I would like to see that.
Man.
After so I can show you.
So you wouldn't have
Yeah.
if it works the way you want it, you don't have a problem going to your assistant saying, "Hey, look,
Oh boy.
All right.
We might have to just minimize. We can
Focus on my
minimize the
bottom line.
road.
Man, my bottom line matter
the
more than
bottom
that.
line matter the most."
Yeah, and it ain't no person I know. It's you know what I'm saying. We work with folks overseas and stuff like that. So I know.
Virtual assistant kind of situation. Yeah,
absolutely.
Gotcha. That's an easy
and it's still that's beneficial for sure.
She's definitely great.
Yeah, so I mean, it helps us a great deal when we ain't actually got to write every contract. We don't got to do everything.
That way you can have a better bird's eye view on things instead of being in the weeds too much.
I mean, I could be leaving the house right now from showing the house, and I hit her up on WhatsApp. I need you to write a contract on this address. Give her all the details. By the time I get home, the contract done.
That's what I was
send it
doing.
off.
She might be doing it herself. She might be using AI.
When I was sitting down right here before we got started, that's what I was talking to.
Well,
like,
let me find out.
yeah,
Once I find out she 5,
Yeah.
I'm going to high AI. You know what I'm saying?
So I know you say you're opening a restaurant.
Mhm.
So I know a lot. It's open.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. So it's called Fresh Green.
Okay.
It's right here in Kettering, 32 Watkins Park Drive.
Mm.
So it's a salad-based concept, similar to Sweet Green, your chopped, your kava. So we basically sell salad, and we got cold pressed juices. We make all our salad dressings in-house. A lot of our dressings are vegan. And it has a little urban feel to it because we offer jerk chicken, we offer jerk salmon, we offer shrimp, crab meat, so you can add all that and build your salad out. So that's the gist of it. We opened up November the 16th, so we've been open almost 4 months. I got introduced to it by one of my good friends who used to actually be a chef for a lot of my events. His brother is the owner of the franchise, so I bought into a franchise. And it's been going great. I'm on the process of trying to open up 2 more stores and try to have 3 in the DMV.
Okay.
And so
where are you looking to open up the other ones at?
The other one is College Park, and then in Bowie.
All restaurants, all the okay.
Yep.
And what made you take on that company in particular? Was it you believed in the franchise? You liked the food? Was the money made sense, or all the above?
All of the above, but mainly, I mean, the obvious that, especially in the PG County area, obviously mainly African American, I think we don't have many healthy options, and so I really believe in that. You know, in the same shopping center that I'm in, there's several curryouts, it's Chipotle there, it's a Wendy's, a pizza joint 2 doors down from me. So
Steak and cheese spot.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think there is in this opportunity too, because knowing that there's plenty more opportunities for me to open up more, knowing that we have, and then you talk about the healthy movement right now. Everybody's in the gym, everybody's trying to get fit, everybody trying to eat healthy, people going vegan. You used to didn't hear that when I was growing up. I didn't know nobody was vegan, but as I got older, people are gradually going into that lifestyle, and so. I think, obviously in restaurant business, the first, 2 to 3 years, you normally struggle, to get, notoriety to, to be known. But, I can see as the trend goes in regards to healthy eating, I think we'll definitely be extra successful.
And you got a great spot too, because you right next to the gym as well. Right?
Yeah, I mean, fitness is a few doors down.
That's a good move.
Over there in Watkins Park.
Yeah, Watkins Park.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Prime. Nobody wants to work out then go to KFC.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Man, that was intentional because we definitely when I open these up, I have to either be near Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, or a gym, and all 3, just because obviously we do marketing, but in itself, just that traffic that's already going to be driven to that location.
You're the only one offering that unique menu right there, where all the other options are greasy chicken, greasy burger.
Well, if you look at even the smoothie joints, I forgot what's it.
Smoothie King.
Smoothie King.
It's right some doors down from me.
Smoothie King's typically always next to a gym, and it's intentional.
Okay.
It makes sense.
Yep. And I also know that when you really think about it, just say for instance, like I have the pizza joint is 2 doors down. My customer base isn't typically people that go in and buy pizza, and we going to generate more repeat customers. Now, obviously, some people can go eat Wendy's every day, Chipotle every day, but 9 times out of 10, if you look at everything in the shopping center, I am more likely to get a customer to come in 4 or 5 times a week. That same customer, because of what we serve.
Wow. Okay. Nice. I'm gonna check it out.
What about you? Any side hustles?
Nah, not yet. But that was part of the reason why I'm here. I mean, this brokerage alone, I've learned a lot about myself, but we're learning the financial literacy game. Yeah. And the goal is not just to sell houses here. It's to be successful in the real estate game, but then know how to move once you've made that money. So right now I'm kind of sitting back more so just kind of like stacking and just kind of like figuring out the right way to move, because I mean, what may work for him may not work for me and vice versa. But I mean, with my sons and the sports and all the other stuff going on, it's just like I got a few ideas, but I'm kind of sitting on it because I want to make sure I'm making the right move. And I'm watching the market and seeing what's going on too. So I'm being patient. But what I have done is like, some smaller ventures like the other people may have invested in those and let that, that kind of come back around. But it's gonna come, but it gotta make sense.
I think one y'all said earlier is about surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
Facts.
So you're in this circle of like-minded people that's gonna do nothing but elevate you.
100%.
When you do fall down, they can help you too. So
that's the goal.
I think that's it right there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's a given, and that's part of the reason why I came here, and part of the reason why I'm still here, and which is part of the reason also why I offer Rannard the same opportunity to come in. Obviously there are. We say this a lot when we tell this story that Rannard didn't need me, I didn't need Rannard. Me personally, I knew that there was something great going on here that he can benefit from, and I watched Rannard watch me work, I watch him work, and then so for me, anybody that I can kind of align myself with, and I see them moving in the same direction I'm moving, it ain't no hate on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm so humble to the point where like I wanna figure out what you're doing, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. I want you to win. What's for right now gonna be for me. We do have some of the same clientele, but we got vast different clientele as well. So, most of the time people shy away from those opportunities because they fearful that he gonna take some business from me or vice versa. And me personally, where we come from, we competitors at the same time. We do want to win. I want to outsell him. He outsell me.
Yeah.
But when at the end of the year, when they come down, it's the DMV Home Team, and we killed it.
Iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely. And that's right.
Man, I was watching this man before he even opened that restaurant. Before he opened that one, man, I stood in here with him while he was in there working by himself. Nobody in there, ain't no salary in that joint. Yeah. But I'm also watching him moving. He getting stuff done. Still handling his real estate business. But I'm watching people. Before that joint even open. They walking back going to CVS, double taking like, double taking like, come back, knock on the door. Yeah. And he could have sat there and act like he ain't see him, but he like, listen, I'm just introducing myself as the owner, so hey, who I am. But hey, I want you to know it is about to open soon, and you could tell when somebody like genuinely cares about what they're doing. So like you said, like we've known each other for a while. I want to say I started playing flag football back in like 2006. It's 2023 now, so it's been a while, and we've talked about. I've seen him get into the real estate game. I knew I wanted to do it. I kind of got in it about 2 years behind him, and it's always been love. It's always been love, but I had to like for myself. I had to find my own path, and I went my own way, and I kind of went somewhere else, and it was like money was the same. And he was like, man, bro, you should come over here. And I'm just like, bro, I can't justify moving. Like, it ain't gonna do nothing for me. But then I started realizing, like, okay, I got to a point where I peaked, and it was like, I'm sitting in the office and everybody looking at me, and I'm like, bro, I'm not even where I'm at. I'm where I want to be at. But y'all looking at me like I'm winning. I'm like, nah. So now, like, how do I motivate myself? And then I started playing with ideas about, bouncing around, figuring out people. But I realized when I talked to those other brokerages, they wanted to keep me in a box of real estate. They wanted me to be a realtor and put all my eggs into that. And I'm just like, nah. Yeah. And then we sat down one time. Like, we sat down a couple times, but we sat down one time here formally, and it was like,
sparked it.
It's like, bro, it's good. We good. We good. My wife said, I ain't never seen you come like you ready. Like, and honestly, I went through a slow period last year. Not even slow because I couldn't get deals done. I was like, I wasn't driven. I wasn't motivated no more. And I was like, what is going on? But you kind of feel like, you want to put that energy and that effort and that time into something that's going to get back to you. Whether it don't got to be monetary, but you got to feel like you got something out of it or somebody else did.
Right.
So,
Again, surround yourself with good people. Sometimes, other people put that barrier in your back to make you more motivated. Sometimes you put that barrier back in their back. So,
and I need somebody to push me. Yeah. And now, like you said, we on the same team. Mm-hmm. But you best believe I'm going to try to get mine. Hey, listen, I'm going to try to get mine. But in the same breath, if Jeremiah say, bro, man, I got $1 million client that I can't get to at this moment. I need you to. Ain't no beef. Like right now, I got an agent that's running the client for me. Tomorrow, I got stuff to do with the family. I got an agent that's going to run to Hagerstown for me.
Mm. Oh yeah, it don't matter what it is, bro. I got his back. He got mine. I don't care if he on vacation. What's going on? We gonna make it happen. Yeah. Deal don't. You don't owe me nothing. Deal don't gotta be none of that. Listen, we can't lose no deals, bro. Fact. Either one of us, we can't afford to. So we going at it, man. And it's a team. It's a teamwork. Man.
But you see it start to trickle down to the team, where the team started being like, hold up. Man, I got to get mine too. And it's like, get yours. Like, and then it's like everybody getting motivated. Mm-hmm. So
the environment is good, man. I think. It really is fulfilling for me when we leave trainings on Wednesday nights and then the feedback we get and people motivated about doing real estate versus especially when they don't have no business, what's motivating them to stay in the game, and the toolage and the teaching that we give them, they really and now the deals are starting to come in. Now they writing contracts, they representing folks. And so that's the gratifying part for me, man. I love to see it, man. I really do.
I think Tuesday, this right here this might have been a powder room on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, we wrote it. We had some, we labeled the rooms in the office to do a kind of a role play situation for a client.
Gotcha.
So one of my agents, she, I sent her on a showing for one of my clients, and the client called me after the fact. I called to say, how did the showing go? She said, well, it went pretty well, but the agent, she didn't really like show me around. I had to figure it out on my own. So, I had to use, obviously, and I should have asked for permission just because I don't want people to feel uncomfortable. But in the training, she didn't. I said, we did this training because of pretty much this, complaint or whatever. And so we wanted people to understand what that looks like and how you should be representing yourself as well as me when you go out and represent one of our clients. And so we want to make sure that you understand. Now, everybody can have their own little different niche and how they do it, but you should be established in some level of relationship, whether it's my client or yours. So when you leave there, you're extra friendly, extra professional, and you're detailed and you understand what you're looking at. Because that client may not know nothing about home ownership. When they leave out their house, they should know something. You know what I'm saying? And you should know something about them. You shouldn't walk in because it's my client. I'm just gonna pull up and open the door and let them walk through the house. Nah, we ain't doing that.
So you do trainings. Was it every Wednesday or
every other Wednesday?
Every other Wednesday. Wow. How big are your classes? I know it varies.
We just doing our team.
Internal. Okay.
So it's our 12, 13 agents for the most part. We ain't. Oh, nah, you gotta be on the team.
That's what I was saying.
Take it back. We dropping gems. We ain't about to get that to anybody. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be part of the DMV.
People who want to learn that ain't part of the team will be buyers. Speaking of which, we have a home buyer seminar coming up next week.
Next Saturday.
Sold out.
Wow.
Sold out. So that means we definitely gonna have to run it back again real soon. So.
Yeah, man.
So this buyer seminar is going to be kind of an ongoing thing. You're going to kind of
100%
do here and there.
Yeah, we started out talking about doing it every other month, but depending on how it moves, but it sounds like we're gonna have to do it every month, but which is good because really it's about educating. You know what I'm saying? Now, do we want to get people in houses? Absolutely. We want to educate people along the way because it's easy for us to kind of put you in a house. We want to make sure you understand the process. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's important before you actually go to a real estate agent. And when you have a firm understanding what's taking place, what are you talking about? What are these numbers? What percent is this? So when you go in there blind, you just trying to take in the knowledge and figure out. But at least you have that beforehand. I think that goes a long way.
In fact, I mean, sometimes my clients like. Why you telling me all this? Like, I trust you, and it's like, I get that you trust me, but I want you to be aware of this process so that when you're done, you actually feel like you know what happened. I don't want you to go home and have to read through that packet of closing to figure out what you bought. Like, no, I want you to be aware of the steps, the process, what it may take. I mean, God forbid something I might not be around next time. Whatever the case may be, you might move to a different state, but I want you to be aware. I want you to become a little more seasoned than you were when you're done with this process.
Where's this event taking place?
It's going to be in Crofton at our title company, Home First Title. That's our preferred title company. So it's from 10 to 12. So it's March 25th, 10 to 12 at Home First Title.
Do y'all offer any virtual access to that at all?
No. You got to show initiative. You got to show up.
Gotcha.
Got to show up. Yeah, we and I get it. Some people can't make it, but, you get the next one, man.
Yeah.
You got to be in the building.
If you're really serious, you're going to find a way to be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how can people reach out to you if they want to get on the next one, or if they need your assistance with any other home buyer?
Yeah, they can email me at jeremiah@thedmvhometeam.net or call me at 202-957-8332. Our office number here on real estate is 240-615-8395.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Jeremiah the DMV Realtor.
Gotcha.
And mine will be Rannard at thedmvhometeam.net. And my phone number 240-832-4066. And my Instagram is RME_sold it. And in both of our pages, along with everybody else on our team, if you do go to our page and you want more information, you click the link in the bio. You'll be able to schedule your free consultation. You're free. You can look at our website. You can get an idea of what's going on in the market, see some of the homes without having to get harassed by a sign up for all those other sites. You can just get straight to the source. So, yeah.
Yep.
Anything else you guys like to mention? Any other?
Yeah, man. I do. Man, we going, the team itself, man, we going for 80 million sold this year. So that's the plan, man. We we got some goals set. So we definitely need the support, obviously, from, obviously the DMV to continue to support us. I appreciate all my clients that have supported me throughout the years and right now our clients. So we definitely want to make sure that people understand we out here and we coming for everything as we say. So, yeah, man, the DMV Home
Humble
Team.
as it come, but
Yeah, man.
we don't have no friends. I mean, like I tell my sons when they're on the field,
Oh,
them your teammates.
friends,
When you're done,
Yeah.
you destroy them until you're done. And when it's over with, then you go back and dap them up like, hey, man, what we doing after this?
Yeah.
But as long as we on the same playing field, I mean, if him and I could be competitive, I mean, listen,
Yeah,
I definitely don't care what nobody else feel like. I mean, and it's not like no ill intent, but we're definitely coming. Nobody will be spared. Every
All respect.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys coming on the
thank you.
show. It's been a pleasure. We learned a lot here as well. And we really look forward to seeing,
Truthfully,
the great things that you guys are doing.
Likewise.
We really appreciate
likewise.
it.
I mean,
Thanks, man. Appreciate y'all, man.
nah,
Much
man,
success.
listen, I mean, give y'all some kudos while we're here. I mean, I like real talk with me because you could have came in here and it could have been just like oh, they got a camera and a mic, but no, y'all came in, y'all did y'all thing. It's professional, the setup, the quality, everything. I mean, I would definitely like to double back in the future and just see where we all are.
Oh yeah, we're gonna double back when y'all get that 80 million.
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go.
Nah,
We're gonna speak into existence.
Facts,
Facts.
facts. My man.
Yeah, for sure.